I don't know. What?
Oxytocin.
Oxytocin, not Oxycontin. That's the other. That's the other kind of love, right? Everyone stand up, stand up, stand up, stand up, stand up. So first of all, a big round of applause to all of our sponsors today. Together we can change the world. ICG World and the Discovery Leisure Group and Company. Beautiful facility and everything. Big round of applause. I want you to say really loud, I have a voice.
I have a voice.
Louder.
I have a voice.
Louder.
I have a voice.
Great. You have found your voice, so I'm done. Thank you very much. Have a seat. Have a seat. So it is just an absolute honor to be here today, and I want to just say, this is my first trip to the Philippines, and it is absolutely fantastic. The warmth and generosity is just incredible. That warmth and generosity that exuded from our traffic last night, absolutely phenomenal. We love it, love it, love it, love it. So, I am a millennial, believe it or not. Here's a picture of me just a couple years ago. I am a millennial. I'm what I call a millennial times 3. You know, so you take a millennial and you add like about 30 years, I am still a millennial, right? So one of the companies I work for quite a bit is Twitter. And Twitter is full of millennials, besides Gen X and Gen Y, and a little bit of baby boomers kind of scattered in there. And what they do at Twitter is when they have an executive, a senior leader, who needs to be coached, or who wants a coach, or is a high potential and needs to get to that next, right, in terms of leadership. So they bring in a few coaches and they interview with the coaches, and then the leader selects kind of the best fit. Who's the coach I want to work for? Who's the coach I want to work with? Who do I want to partner with? So the last 6 months, I've been the one that's been selected over and over and over again. And I'm just like, wow, this is like so cool. It's like the cool kids table, which is that table in the back, by the way. But the cool kids table, right? And I'm like, I'm being selected by all these cool millennial leaders at Twitter to be their coach. And I was talking to the chief learning officer there, Melissa, who's a really good friend of mine as well. We've become very close through our relationship. And she goes, my gosh, Paul, she goes, yeah, it's absolutely. She goes, every time they meet with you, after they meet with the other coaches, they call us up and they just say, Paul's the one. We want Paul, we want Paul, we want Paul. And I'm like, wow. I go, what am I doing, for feedback? What am I doing that is generating that? She goes, well, they feel like they're talking to their father. So I look at that, and as we've learned today through all the speakers, how we take things in and we grow with that, and we look at the glass is half full. So to borrow from Scotty's presentation earlier today around gratitude, I'm thinking gratitude, yeah, they could be thinking that I'm their grandfather. So I will take father all the way. I own my age. I own who I am. I own the fact that I'm 28. I love it. So, and actually, I do own my age. I'm 54, and I'm very happy and proud to be that. 54 years. Thank you. Thank you. I don't think I've ever gotten applause for saying I'm 54. 54 years of experience. I've been a manager. I've been a leader. I've been everything, and I've made every single mistake there is to make in the corporate world. I have done it. And I have done it again. And I have done it again. And I have done it again and again and again until I finally learned, right? So I have made every kind of mistake there is to make as a manager and leader. Question I want to ask you is, why do you choose to lead? Why do you choose to lead? What impression are you leaving as a leader? When you show up as a leader, it doesn't matter what role, it doesn't matter what organization, what impression are you leaving as a leader? And how do you own that impression? How do you own that impact? How do you own that legacy as a leader? Because boy, if you don't own it, if you don't create it, if you don't author it, somebody else will. So own your impression as a leader. Own your legacy as a leader. This is what a typical millennial looks like. They tend to cry quite a bit, right? So, not at all. Not true at all. Leadership is a choice. A great quote by Mr. Covey, the late Mr. Covey. Leadership is a choice, not a position. We've been talking about that all today. All the speakers that you've had today, all my esteemed colleagues have been talking about, it's a choice. It's not a position. So it is absolutely up to you to choose to lead. Because if you don't want to be a leader, then get out. There are enough bad leaders out there right now. I've been managed by them. I've probably been them sometime in my life. But I have been managed by bad leaders. People that should not lead. Anybody here ever had a leader like that? Present company accepted, of course. Right? Nobody wants to raise their hand. Whoa, I'm not going to look. No, 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 no. But present company accepted. But absolutely, leadership is a choice, not a position. So when I talk about your voice as a leader, what is your voice as a leader? And what does that stand for? And how did I develop this? So I developed the voice model that I use in my coaching. When I coach executives, when I coach leaders, actually in all different types of positions, when I coach teams and so forth, I'm coaching what is their voice. And that came up because I used to work with a lot of leaders, and I'd say to them, use your voice. Use your voice. Use your experience. Your opinion counts. Who you are counts. People are looking for you to lead. People are looking for you to influence. Use your voice. And then finally, one of my smarter clients said to me, you need to tag that. That's a really good brand. You need to work on that. You know, that needs to be your brand. That was a few years ago, and I thank one of my clients at SAP for saying that in terms of find your voice as a leader. What does it stand for? Well, certainly it doesn't stand for a bunch of shouting. Finding your voice doesn't mean talking louder, which we tend to do. And I know you've got presidential elections coming up, and I'm sure there's a lot of talking and arguing going on, right? We have it too in the States. Where a lot of talking, a lot of shouting. Nobody's really listening at all. But finding your voice as a leader is about discovering your values, establishing your outcomes, exercising your influence, demonstrating your courage, and creating your overall expression. V-O-I-C-E. And in the next few short minutes, we're going to go through each one of those. And I'll give you some hints and ideas and tools about how to actually find your voice through your values, your outcomes, your influence, your courage, your expression. V-O-I-C-E. Top 5 questions I always ask when I coach leaders. I always ask myself when I'm leading. Anything in life, much less in the corporate world. What do I cherish? And you know something? When I ask leaders, what do you cherish? What do you hold true? What is your passion? What really means something to you? You know, sometimes I get responses like, I don't know. I really never thought about it. I don't know what I cherish. I don't know what I hold true. I don't know what I value. So that's where we start in terms of finding our voice. We all have our values in our life. And we know when our values are misaligned. You ever work for a company where the values you have as a person don't match the values of the organization? Sure. When values are misaligned, we know. We call that disengagement. We talk about disengagement. We talk about engagement. One of the major factors of disengagement in the workplace is when people's values are not aligned to the values of the organization. So they go into work each day and they don't want to be there. Not because they can't do the job, not because they don't like their coworkers, but because their values are not aligned to the values of the organization. Where are we going? That's the next question. Where are we going? Where are we going? We asked that a lot last night in our Uber car. Where are we going? Where are we going? I just told the Uber driver, who was absolutely phenomenal. I said to the Uber driver, just keep moving. I don't care where we go, just keep moving. You know, just keep, and he was absolutely did every U-turn, everything there was. But where are we going? If you can't answer that as a leader, then you don't have a vision. You can't set goals. You can't set a roadmap. You can't get anyone to follow you. Where are we going? Third one, why should you follow me? Why should you follow me? Rebecca just talked a lot about following and followers and getting people, that authenticity, the influence. Why should you follow me as a leader? Just because you report to me. Is that the only reason you should follow me? No, a true aspect of a leader is when people want to follow you that don't report to you, right? Anybody work in organizations where if somebody walks in the room, you're like, oh, wow, I want to listen to what that person has to say. I want to be around that person. I want to ask a lot of questions. That's leadership. Not just because on an org chart, we're just reporting to that person. So, how do you get people to follow you? Why should you follow me? Now, here's one. How do I stand alone? How do I stand alone? One of the hardest things to do as a leader. In fact, organizations go out of the way to make sure people don't stand alone. Because when you stand alone, it takes a lot of courage. It takes you out of your comfort zone. It can be very awkward. You might have to say something that's, should I really say anything? It goes back to what Rebecca was saying about the filtered and unfiltered. How do you stand alone as a leader? When do you not raise your hand? When do you not state your opinion? You ever done this in any kind of meeting where it's like, oh, I should say something, but if I say something, oh my gosh, I might look stupid. Oh my God, I don't even know what I should say. And then all of a sudden somebody says exactly what you were saying, and they're viewed as the smart person. So how do you stand alone as a leader? And the last question, what is my legacy? What is my legacy? What am I going to stand for? And I'm going to tell you something right now. If you don't take anything else from my presentation today, as a leader, and I don't care what position you have, I don't care what organization you work in, I don't care what you do, you are a leader in your life. You are a leader in your life. But what is your legacy? Because if you don't author your legacy as a leader, if you don't author that and own that and create that and have a purpose around that, it is being created for you. It is being done for you. So own your legacy. We're going to talk a little bit more about that a little bit later on. I focus a lot on that with my clients when I do the executive coaching. By the way, as